A couple of people are coming back in.
All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry. All right. All right. He's back in. All right. Yes, you can have the first question. AJ, you got the first question. All right. You ready? You're all warmed up?
I'm good.
All right. All right. AJ wants the first question. Oh, wait. Hold on. I think she wants to say something to your wife, I think.
Thanks, Melissa, because yes, it is a tough lifestyle for sure.
Hey, she's just getting started.
Yeah.
We're only in year 3. All right. So.
Yeah, but I was saying, it was funny. I was just saying last night, I'm like, Dave, you have no idea how lucky you are.
Yeah.
And the time I put in this, and I hope this dream of yours as well.
She works the front desk, man. She's there every single night, man.
Same with Melissa, man.
She's on the mat every day, with the kids. So it definitely takes a full team, man. I thank you for that. Wait, hold on. AJ said the first question. He said you wanted first question. And I'm sorry for rushing you before, man.
Hey, no worries, dude. This is all good, man. That's all good.
How did Steve put up with Danny Rod? He must be busting balls here.
Yeah, Danny's always a pain, but he's a great asset to our club. He's one of the we have this whole hometown village, and when you join our club, some of the guys that are constant. Danny's one of I buy in the past. I've gotten him cards as a joke as my marketing guy. He's always out there just talking positively about Elite and pushing kids in our club and coming around coaching the Tots because he has a couple of Tots sons right now, and but he drives a lot of these dudes nuts, but he's so good at it. You got to give him props,
That's awesome. How's Seb's diet during the season?
All right. So yeah, like we talked about earlier, like at the NC State, like my run, like to be a Division I wrestler, it's no joke,
Oh boy, hope we didn't lose him again. All right.
No, I'm good. All right. So that's what I was getting at earlier. And Dave, you saw it too, man. The diet, the focus, the workout, the sleep, the social life, the everything. It's got to be on point, man. Like if you're serious about being good at wrestling, man, there is too many kids out there trying their butts off to beat you. So if you think that you can do that little thing, well, I'm the guy that was like, yo, that dude's doing that, so I'm going to do this. And when we get to that match, I should freaking win because I did this and he did that. You know what I mean? So for these guys that are out there wondering how it's done, the passion has to burn deep and the work ethic has to be real, And like today, I woke up, I didn't feel like working out. And then like Andrew Marr, one of my alumni, he's a Hoboken working young man right now, but he sent me a video of his and he's like, on Tuesday, you saw it. He's like, I don't like you either Tuesday, and it shows him running. He's like, I didn't feel like running until I started running. Thanks, coach. And I'm like, thank you, bro, because I needed that push right now. Like every day you have to be willing to go do that if you really want to be the good guy.
Yes. Let me see if we got Freddie Barnes. Okay, Freddie. Another one of you guys, Freddie, is on here right now.
Freddie Pont, alumni.
What would you recommend for high school wrestlers who are trying to jump levels?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, man, comes down to that commitment. Level jumping comes by commitment, man, and you could watch that in your own game if you're a wrestler, you can, like me, I could tell you, I took second, first, that in high school, I took a second, then a first. In college, I took 8th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. I feel like that was the progression of me figuring out what it took to be the best. And it takes adjustments, it takes effort because you got to figure out what you suck at. So without the effort, you're not going to find those mistakes. So you need the effort first. And then the mistakes will define themselves. Then you make your adjustments. You train with those adjustments. And then you're, jumping levels, as you guys call it. But in real levels, would you call it levels or is it better execution? Like, I feel like I watched Sebastian, and I watched so many great wrestlers. I'm so fortunate in that sense. Like even Freddie there, these guys, A lot of it is the evolution of them, like their mindset, their commitment, their body frame, their genetics, how far they are in their pubes. Like, look at the difference once the juice starts flowing. Look at my girls whoop my boys, and then as soon as they turn into it, it gets a little bit different. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
all those factors are going to dictate that level of jumpment, you know? And that's where Sebastian, a lot of people say, oh, you know, I can't believe how good he got. I say, I I can't believe how long it took him to grow into that. He was always great. He just wasn't always the biggest. He wasn't the oldest. I didn't hold him back. So he was always grinding to earn it. And that's how my life was. I wanted his like that. I felt he was capable. And we have the resources if you're going to do it, we can help you get there. And that's why we didn't care when he chose to go to CBA, you know? I knew I could still get him to that title if he was willing to do the work. You know what I mean? So it's all those things that when people talk about these levels, you got to think about a lot of different things in how to approach your individual level jumps.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was talking to your son, and one of the things that he told me, and he stuck with me, he goes, you haven't even seen the best Sebastian Rivera yet. He still thinks that he's still got room to grow.
There's no doubt.
There's
no doubt.
He said, he's like, I'm not even. He's like, I could be better in other positions that I'm not good at. And when from the outsiders looking in, as a coach looking in, as a wrestler looking in, as a parent looking in, I'm like, damn, you know, like, how much higher is the ceiling for this kid? But you know what? If he sees it, then it has to be. There has to be growth.
Yeah, but there's like a guideline. Like, there's a guideline. And like some people can say, oh, no, there's not. No, there's this. No, there's not. All right? You show me one great wrestler that doesn't have a two-sided tag.
Yeah.
Right? So when you see that one kid doing a right side high crotch all night when he's doing his stance in motion, is he really getting better? You know, is he really capable of being great? He could be if you're Frankie Molinaro and everybody knows you have a high crotch, but I'm still taking your ass down.
Yeah.
But for the normal mortal like myself, I'm going to have to make that adjustment because if you know I have that, I can't hit that now. I got to hit something else. You know what I mean? So those kind of things, and I can tell you just with this quarantine with my son, I can tell you those are the things we're working on. Everything to both sides, every day, over 100 reps, and, you know, at least 10 of that same side, same move to get consistency, to make sure it feels the same, and that your left or right they both feel the same, you know? And that takes time.
Okay. I mean, no, and that's all great words that you got there. And listen, I have to ask this question, and I mean, your son really just didn't want to elaborate on it, but I mean, you know, he's been wrestling his whole life, okay? And these are the times that he trained for, and he missed out on a year that I think that he this was his shot, man. I really, and he didn't want to dwell on this question either. He really didn't want to dwell on this question, and I feel like you're not going to dwell on it either. But I had to ask him because I told him I would ask you too. You've been watching wrestling since a kid, and you know, you were hoping that one day he'd win an NCAA title, and he was ranked number 1 in the tournament, and this could have been his year. How does that feel as a dad? I asked him as a wrestler, how did that feel for you?
I haven't even thought much about it because it's not my dream, you know. Like I like Sebastian. I think he said out there. My dad told me if I didn't want to come back this year, he didn't care. I didn't. I felt like let's fight for a fucking red shirt. Let's try to get a med red. You didn't wrestle all year. All the numbers match, but great coaching, great guidance by Matt Storniolo and Jimmy Kennedy, and telling us like he's ready, man. He just needs to get back on the mat. And you know what? You need to trust the people, you know. And I'm I learn how to be better at this all the time, and I always work at it because I don't want to be that parent. And Matt Storniolo, I'm sure, would vouch for me to say Steve has stayed out of the way all the time, except when I called him and asked him to get involved. You know, I truly believe you have to trust your resources. We went to Northwestern because of the coaching staff and education. We knew what we were getting. Andrew Howe is amazing. Jimmy Kennedy, Cody, these guys are guys. Bill, Bobby. These are guys that won at the highest level and won multiple times. You got to believe it. And I've been wrestling. I'm older, double the age of them. But, like, you got to put your ego on the side and trust the people that you're supposed to trust. And that's where in the club game I try to sell that. And in my life, I live that. And it worked. Look at him. Sebastian came out and shocked the world. Not really, but damn, he wrestled 2 matches he had to wrestle, and he did,
And I knew that answer was going to be that way, that you were going to answer it that way, and that's why you are the coach who you are, and why people respect you, because you're like a no excuse type of guy, and it seems like your son's the same way too. I know other people would have answered that completely different and said, "Oh, this could, that sucks, blah blah blah," and be very negative about it. But you seem to be positive about it.
Yeah, but we've got that. That's the thing, like last year or whatever year that was, the one year where he was number one, and man. We rode that number one all year, and as a parent, you're like fired up. Me and my wife were like, yeah. And then you go to nationals, and the poor kid gets upset in the semi, learning a life lesson, and you're proud to see that lesson happen, but you're sad that it happens on that stage. And I have the picture with Muller jumping in the air and my son on the ground looking away like this. And that moment, my son grew more than anybody will ever know, because that disappointment there has driven him to the greatness that he's trying to be today. You know what I mean? And it's those disappointments that I lived with my 8th, 3rd, 2nd, 1sts that I know what they're capable of doing for you inside once you get there. And he's there now. So that's what he's talking about. That next level is now he's all in. He believes he could be the best ever. And you can't come in next year thinking at 33 is going to be jam-packed again. 41, if he decides to go there, is jam-packed there. Is he a player? Yes. Is that all you can hope for in that division? Hell yeah. Show up prepared, wrestle the match you can. And if the wrestling gods are on your side, you're going to get your arm raised, baby. You know what I mean? So, like, we've lived with that motto, and I couldn't be prouder of the wrestler he is. And honestly, with the Northwestern degree, that's the true accomplishment, man. The wrestling is a sport. The true accomplishment is the way he's setting himself up for life here, and all these guys that go to college, no matter what school it is, you're setting yourself where your safety net is going to be further than the guy that didn't go to college. That safety net is called a college degree. Mommy and daddy won't have to hold you here. You'll be good here. So please focus on your grades out there, man. Make sure you're doing those things. Get your degrees. And then if you want to keep wrestling and doing all that, that's great. But the degree is where at the end of the day, when you want the white picket fence and the hot rod car, or you want to donate it to all the people in the world and save the world, whatever way that is, you need a job for that to happen. And it starts first with education.
You should be like a motivational speaker or something like that, man. You got me fired up. I feel like I want to go for a run, and I can't even run my back. my back is jacked up. I can't run, but I think I may go for a run after this, man. You got me all fired up, man. You're just the way, like, again, I could sit here all day and talk to you and listen to your words and stuff like that. Even if you're talking about someone else, it's just motivational enough for me as well. I mean, I know that one thing I want to touch on, and then we could take some more questions. I'll finish it off at 9:30. That'll be in 15 minutes. Is I know he wanted to go for wrestle for Team Puerto Rico and wrestle in the freestyle circuit. And he missed out kind of on that opportunity as well.
And now we're probably going to have to like reconsider weight, like I don't think he'll ever see 125 again. You know what I mean? So
is that the weight class for freestyle too?
25.7, I think it is, like 125.7.
Oh, so that was even. Oh, so he's at 33 pounds, and he was going 25.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
No. So like he's probably gonna have to revisit that and maybe earn a wrestle off. to try to get in that next weight class. I wouldn't want to see him go down to that weight and try to kill himself because, first of all, if you're going to the Olympics, you want to enjoy yourself, man. You want to be able to train like you're capable of training, Like when we went out there, he was cutting that weight. We worked out. He worked out like an animal. Him and Jimmy Kennedy, God bless their souls. They worked out so much to sweat that out, man. So much. I mean, hours.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, just watching him, like, and not complaining or none, but you had to do the time to get it out, And and then he had recovery, which was good, and the competition was reasonable, Whereas you go to the Olympics and you try to do that, man, you're going to get washed up by somebody's going to throw you pretty good and beat you up pretty good, So I would like to see him be able to train at the weight that he feels comfortable and really be able to go out there and perform like he's capable, like he is at 33 right now,
Yeah. It's funny. I'm just thinking about you right now. I had Mike Krause on Tuesday.
Amazing, isn't he?
that
He's
kind of
amazing.
energy is through the roof. Oh, I mean, but you know what? Listen, I loved all my interviews. I loved them all. This is like, you're like the 15th interview that I've done so far. But, and I know I keep saying this is my best one, but this is by far my best one for many reasons. Many reasons. For number one, our friendship that we have. Number two, looking up to you and kind of because I understand you because I am a club owner as well and trying to be the type of person that you are one day. But this is by far, and if Coach Goodale's on or Krause is on or any of these other coaches I put on, no offense to you, but this is one of my favorite.
Coach Krause, though, but like Coach Krause, Mike, like honestly, he's a younger generation guy than me, but like that dude is amazing. Like he's an amazing voice for wrestling, and the way he is, I don't know if you ever seen the way he runs a clinic or anything, but that energy, the kids buy into it, man. Everybody in that room buys into what he's selling. And he's like, honestly, USA Wrestling should put him in charge of something because he brings the heat.
Exactly.
Krause brings the heat.
Exactly. Before I get you off too, and I'm going to answer a couple questions. Hopefully we get out of this quarantine and you have one of your infamous backyard parties because I'm coming.
All you guys, man. I'm coming. Seriously, you're all welcome. Last year, Cooperman and everybody came out, so hopefully with every year it will grow a little bit more and more. But yeah, you guys are welcome to, man. And yeah, I just hope this quarantine thing does end and we're able to get to some type of normalcy for the kids, man. I mean, as adults, it is what it is. But imagine being a kid stuck in your house all day, man. Like you're used to going to ride your bike or you go to wrestling. Some of these kids I see every day. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just hope it comes. We could get to some place. But
yeah, I'm definitely coming to the party, guys. So whoever's in here that usually comes to his parties, I'm there. Bring your jet ski and some steaks for the grill. Well, maybe, I don't know who's talking to about that.
We do. That's how it goes, baby. That's how we roll.
Some food and some drinks. That's what I'll be there. What was it? The question was, wait, someone asked, who do I got, Goggins or Rivera? I don't even know who's Goggins. I don't even know what that is. Are you reading that? I don't know.
I'll be chilling with Melissa, getting some words of wisdom.
Yeah. Do you know what that means?
No.
All right. I don't either. If someone can elaborate on that. Goggins, I don't know if I'm saying it right. All the toys?
Yeah, no, they just because we're on the water, so like you're able to,
David Goggins. Who's David Goggins?
Oh no, they're one of the guys. Yeah, like we got a lot of guys come out here, man. In the summer, we host a lot. I'm definitely into sharing like my things with the people, and like I love to have my Lee family around and kind of show the kids that I was so blessed with coming up through wrestling with just great mentors, like our high school guys coming down to rec practice, and Tom Fasano, who's like took third in the States, or Benedictson, and like we just the Gall family, who like Jamie Gall is one of the kids today, the MMA fighter, but like we had this just amazing thing in Manalapan at the time, which is, it was a special time. Our parents went to work, and we had to go to practice, and it was like a great all the way up. And like you get to today and where we are today, wrestling's so much more. It can be so much more. And we're doing great things in New Jersey, but like we just got to keep doing more. And guys like Reese Humphreys out there, you know, creating an environment. Because let's be honest, man, those guys that graduate, you grab any top 8 guy in this country that places in nationals, and you give them a coach that understands regimen, commitment, and holding people accountable, and they're going to get pretty good, man, because they're pretty good already. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah,
But you take,
100%.
right now, you take a guy with like a Reese now that has the resources and stuff to let him do what he's doing, which his accomplishments, he knows what it takes. He connects with the guys. He's like their fighting agent. Like I was at a board meeting yesterday and he's their liaison, man. He's their guy. And I just believe that environment, we're lucky to have Reese, but whoever we put under him, he's going to make great. And we have a great future of that ahead of us because he does a great job of holding these guys accountable. And at their age, for what they're getting paid and the things they're doing, you know, some question that, you know, and Reese is able to make it bigger than that. And that's what it takes because it is bigger than money, wrestling. Wrestling's about what it does for you inside, you know, like, and what it builds you to be and then what you're capable to build others to be.
100%. Again, I talked to Coach Ayers a lot about him, and he was super excited about having him there on staff. New Wave Screen Printing, can just shoot me an inbox with some information if you can. All right, we got about 9 minutes, guys. If you want to ask a couple more questions, I'm going to let Coach Rivera off at 9:30. We want to get, you know, maybe watch a little NFL draft. I mean, it's something other than wrestling. I mean, that we could watch. I mean, something different. You know, watching some kids
Dave,
that have their life come.
You're
through.
the new generation. I'm going to ask you a question.
Oh boy,
what did you think about right now? The big thing on Flow was the latest interaction between Dake and Burroughs. What was your take on that? Because I keep talking to different generations, and there's a lot of different takes on it. So.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan, to be honest with you.
All right.
I wasn't a fan of that. I think that I don't know. It brought out a side out of some of them that, and I don't know them personally. You know, I don't know what they like in person and stuff like that. But it brought a side out of them that maybe a kid at a younger age will who looks up to one of those guys and kind of like, hey, maybe that guy's a punk or maybe he's that, and think differently about him. You know, if it was, you know, but what pisses me off is that was it staged? Was it not staged? I mean, if it was staged, maybe
it definitely wasn't staged.
Yeah, you know, but like. So to answer your question, I wasn't a fan. I mean, I'm a huge fan of UFC. I think leave UFC for those type of trash talking and shit talk. And I'd like to grow the sport of wrestling. Of course, man. Who wouldn't want to grow the sport of wrestling? But I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't.
Personally. Good. I'm just curious. And then that's probably the general, you know, but there's plenty of Dake fans out there that, you know, they're going to believe in him, and you can't hate on a dude that won 4 national titles at 4 weights. The guys,
but I'm a fan of both of them, though.
No, and Burroughs, you can't argue with him, and he's won every match. You know, like what 5-2. I mean, so but you know, like I say, man, wrestling needs to be sold on its principles, not on the nonsense.
Yeah, and again, like I'll be totally honest with you, I was watching it for about maybe 7 minutes, and then when it started becoming repetitive and stupid, I turned it off because I'm like, I can't listen to this shit anymore. Like, I'm at the point where just go on a damn mat, you know, as soon as this quarantine's over, wrestle each other, go meet in freaking Lincoln or go meet in freaking Cornell and go just freaking wrestle each other one time or best out of 3 and just get it the hell over with, you know?
Yeah.
I guess I come from, you know, a time, and I'm a lot younger than you, but like, I mean, being in the carny, stuff like that, you had a problem with somebody, you beat the shit out of them, and that's it. You walked away, you got your ass kicked, and you walked away, and that's it, you know? And that's how it was. And even with that kind of trash talk, you know, so.
Yeah, no, and that's what I like about your generation. And that's where I feel like Frankie is a product of that generation. You know, you were still able to beat people up and not go to jail for it. You know,
and then maybe come back and be friends, maybe like
100%. Yeah,
like the next week, you know. I remember as a kid, I fought 2 brothers at the same time, and because I was beating the one up, and the other one jumped in, and I beat them both up, and then we were friends. We fought on Friday. We were friends on Monday. You know, no cops, nothing involved, and that's it. You know, no weapons, none of that shit. But again, I wasn't a fan. But I mean, and Ben Askren kind of set that up in a way to get that going and to try to get Flow to get some. And I love Flow. I like the content, but
Yeah,
some things that I guess when you're in quarantine, you think of shit to try to get stuff going. And I thought it was the wrong idea, but
I
whatever.
think Ben had the. In my opinion, I feel like Ben had his heart in the right place. Like he wanted both sides of the story. I don't, because when they first start bickering, he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But then they just start talking over him, and he's like, let's see how this goes. It is, you know. So
Yeah.
I, I don't think anyone wants to see any of these guys with all these accolades, you know, diminishing what they've each accomplished, because we know what it takes to get it.
Yeah, and they're fathers and shit, and they got kids too. I mean, I wasn't a fan of it. Favorite go-to move with 5 seconds left in overtime, down one. What I would do, I would definitely go like if I hit a fireman's carry. I wasn't a headlock guy. I wasn't an inside trip guy just yet. I don't know, Steve. What would be your move? 5 seconds left, no T, down one.
Down one, man, and you got you're chasing them down. You know,
Yeah,
it's a tough place to be, and that's why we practice. I honestly, I would hope maybe they're tired draping in arms so I could get to a quick high crotch. Outside single is going to take a little longer because you're not going to get it up. The dude's pretty good, you know. Maybe outside single. Yeah, I would probably go high crotch, try to get that corner, and like not a stay still, like a slide through high crotch, try to slide that corner.
Yeah, I think I answered that question wrong. It says, okay, so it's a 52 go move with 5 seconds left in OT. I didn't know. Okay, it was in overtime. I mean, I would, to be honest with you, I was a low single guy. I would probably fake a low single, and I mean 100% low single shot to get the guy to sprawl me and try to hit like a peek out, you know, to try to get out of that position. That would be like I would look for. Like I wouldn't like just hope it would come. That was exactly what I would try.
And you were good. Yeah, like you were really good, Dave. You know, like I totally remember watching you, and I remember my heartbreak in watching you beat Frankie. You know, and I felt like he was prepared for there, but like we just weren't. You were just better that day. I mean, honestly, no one could take that from you. It was you just and to watch you go on and do what you did, and then the next year, you know, him to come back and then go and finish with that fifth. He doesn't even want to wrestle. We're like kind of fighting him for that, you know. And
no, I mean, listen, Steve. Honestly, and I told him in an interview when I talked to Frankie, he was one of my third guys on my interviews. And one of the things that I said, listen, I was in shape. I was in great shape when I wrestled, okay? And I don't want you to think that I wasn't in shape. But the game plan, because I remember watching him, you know, throughout the off-season tournaments, I always knew that he had a gas tank. And
dude, that was our thing, bro.
Yeah, and I knew, I'm not saying that I didn't have a gas tank, but what I said to myself was I'm not going to wrestle Frankie 6 minutes at his pace. I had to slow the match up. And, you know, I rode legs. I threw the legs in, and I had to change his whole game plan, and I rode him for about 5 minutes or 4 minutes and a half. And I think that if I didn't do that, it would have went a different way.
It could have been a different way, especially if we could stay on our feet, you know.
And he took me down one time pretty easy. He let me up and he cut me, and he was about to do it again. And I felt it. I said, you know what? This guy's going to try to let me up and take me down again. And you know what? He may break me and get my head. I remember this shit to this day. And I looked over at my brother. And there was like 30 seconds left. And in 30 seconds, he could have did a lot of damage. And I looked over at my brother, and I got on the line. I looked back at my brother like that. And he goes, and I remember to this day, he goes, give me one more takedown. This match is over. And I said, and I was a little gassed. And he goes, get one more takedown. And I said, all right, I'll do it. And as soon as the whistle blew, sweep single. Took him down, match over. Okay? And if I didn't do that, and
that's how Frankie was beating. Like, that's how Frankie was beating a lot of people. I mean, he beat some great people that year, and he beat them big. I'm not going to name them, but he beat a lot of good people that year, and he beat them big, especially in the third period, man. Yeah. So I've always believed in conditioning. That's always been an asset that I feel that's one of the factors. You know, everybody's like, control the controllables. Well, conditioning is a controllable control. You know, you could control that. So how hard are you willing to make it hurt? You know, like, and to what extent can you push that? How willing are you to take that pain, and mentally, how strong are you to be able to deal with it? You know, and to this day, my son beats me up, but I tell him I'm going to get up every time. And he laughs because he throws me right back down. But I get back up, and I feel like that's the mentality that you got to have for this gig to get where you're going.
100%. I'm going to take 2 more questions. And this is a good. Freddie had a good question. Being 2 decades in the sport, how do you keep up the evolution of the sport?
The kids. I feel like a lot is the kids. You learn off of watching styles. I'm not a guy who dictate style. I dictate learning technique. You pick what you pick, and then I help you get better at what you pick. So with the evolution of wrestling, first of all, being in it every day doesn't hurt anything. Being able to wrestle, staying healthy, that helps. But being around in New Jersey, man, we're fortunate enough. So if you go out looking, you're going to find it. And, man, I spend my time watching my share of videos. There's guys I look up to that I like. Like, I love a Mike Krause. I mean, honestly, I could watch it. I love youth wrestling. I love teaching little kids. I can watch Mike Krause. He cracks me up with his hypeness, man, and the way they repeat after him. And if you don't, he makes you do it again. Like, he's relentless. But he keeps them engaged, you know. I try to do my own way of doing that stuff, you know. So the evolution is really all you guys and my elite kids, you know, learning, watching them, watching their struggles. How can we make them better? You know, nutrition is, I feel, is a new factor these days that we didn't think of back in the old days that now I push on the kids, because that is one of the integral parts. Like, if you had the whole components here and it was broken into little pieces, one of the little pieces, as they get in this cycle of greatness, as they're going up, they have to be able to balance those little compartments. And some of them don't have those compartments. And when they get up here, their shit gets there, but they're missing those pieces. And that's where you're missing maybe your moment of greatness, or your accomplishment of greatness, because you didn't know that, or you didn't have that, and your opponent did. So yeah. I feel like in today's world of evolution of any wrestler or coach, you have to continue to build your toolbox, but there's a fundamental of base tools that always got to be in at every toolbox.
Of course. Yep. And coach, again, I'm going to say, you know, I'm surprised you don't have like your own little podcast going.
I've been thinking about it, but I watch Frankie and stuff. And like, look at this here today. There's not a lot of people here, but maybe once it goes out there, people will see it and they'll be like, wow, that was a good conversation.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. Like, you know, I always look at the number up top and then it'll be like 30, 40. But when this thing is over, I'll go on to my activity and there'll be 900 people that came through the thing.
And I've noticed that. That's what I'm hoping. So
yeah, listen, don't judge the number up top, because when I am done with this, you know, I record it and then I put it on YouTube. And if anyone missed the whole beginning, who's on right now, dude, you need to go on and really listen to Coach what he's saying. But I'll go on later and look at the activity, and there'll be 1,000 people that went through this thing. And whether or not maybe somebody went on for a little bit, then they had something else to do. Maybe I heard people say, yo, I heard your thing the first 15 minutes. I got so much out of it. But then I got stuck eating dinner, or I got this, or do that. So don't, you know.
But like in a podcast, wouldn't we want it like, I don't want to talk story. I would like to talk to the people.
Well, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. And I wrote on my thing the other day, yes or no, if I should do a podcast. 96% was yes, and 4% was no. And I reached out to a couple people because I really wanted to know what was the no for. And I knew it wasn't in bad intent or anything like that. But I reached out to them, and they're like, Dave, the only reason why I don't want you to do a podcast is because you're not going to interact with the guy face to face that you're interviewing, and no one can interact and ask questions during it. And I said, you know what, you're right. I think a podcast would be like, if I got you on again, I would love to do a podcast and just talk more in depth on things. And then people can just go to bed listening to this shit and can be like, okay, getting a lot of pointers for you. But the first initial thing that I wanted to do with these interviews, just so I can see you, look in your eye and just see, I can see you took your shirt off, your sweatshirt off, you were getting hot because you were getting into it and stuff like that. And I started these first waves of things like this because eventually I want to do that. But to be totally honest with you, I would listen to you all day. And if you started doing something like this on IG Live or a podcast or a YouTube thing, like Ashnell and Goodell doing, I would definitely listen in. So you should.
I like Goodell's thing.
I need to hear what you got to say. All right, you got to hear. So you should definitely get into it, bro, for sure. All right. Okay, there you are. All right.
I just feel like I've lived the rest of life.
So why don't you, Steve, you should do a podcast. Yeah, people want you to do a podcast. Listen, guys, maybe if he doesn't start off and do a podcast first, I would love him to get coaches on all day long on Instagram Live and and Coach, I mean, well, people are in quarantine. They got nothing else to do. Let's talk wrestling, dude. You know, maybe get me on. You know, I like to
No,
talk.
you're great, Dave.
You
That's
know,
where like you would
yeah,
need a guy like you because you
yeah, yeah,
today I have a lot to say, but after a couple of days I probably wouldn't, you know.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
would need a guy like you. So let's consider that then, all right?
Yeah, we could maybe talk about that podcast.
And it would
Guys.
be
Yeah,
great to get other guys from like
yeah,
South Jersey, get
yeah.
3, 4 of us in there that are, and then bring in the other guys that want to be involved where we could start building this New Jersey mentality, you know, like,
100%.
man, like once a year, let's party this up together in
I,
Virginia
I'm
Beach.
totally down for it. And next week I'm only going to do 3. I'm only choosing 3, and I'm going to go outside the box, outside of wrestling. I'm going to talk to Jamie at Eat Clean Bro,
Nice.
okay? Because I like hearing people's journeys, and
Yeah.
I like to get inspired. I'm going to try to get Vito Melnicki. I don't know if you know much about him.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Vito?
Okay,
I went
little
to
Vito.
Oh, really? Yeah, the boxing one.
The boxing. He's a senior in high
His
school.
dad, I went to TCNJ with Vito.
Anthony Melnicki, was it Anthony or?
Yeah, Vito.
Yeah, okay. Oh, Vito's name as well too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm trying. I inboxed him. I'm waiting for him to answer. But he's a senior in high school, right at the town where I have my wrestling.
Nutley, right? Aren't they in Nutley?
They're originally from Nutley, but they live in Fairfield now.
Oh, okay.
So that's where my club is. So I want to freaking.
I hear
wanna
his son's a killer. I hear his son's real good at the
Bro, he's 5-0, youngest kid to ever go pro. He had to sign waivers for him. He's 5-0. He's up and coming. One of the top in the world. This whole thing is sick. Thanks, Denver, bro. You know, Denver, I like your, you know, Coach Will Dodd at Plainfield talks about you all the time. He loves you, man.
Mike Denver is a great guy, and you know it's a shame we lost him down here in the shore. But he's in a place where you know he's married now up north, where his people are from. So it's a great thing. But yeah, Mike, and he's a great story, you know, like where he gets out of high school and, you know, he does well. He does tremendously well, but maybe doesn't accomplish goals, goes to TCNJ. He's a genius in school, smart as could be, wins himself a national title. I mean, like, those are the stories. And Frankie Edgar is a great story like that. You know, you get close in high school, then you go to college and you get close your senior year. And, you know, this dude just learning their relentless pursuit through adversity is just, it's just incredible. Some of these people I meet, and Frankie's one of them, obviously. And he stayed, you know, when he won that world title and we're in Abu Dhabi, and I have a picture of us, you know, him sitting there crying within his lap. The second before that, we were crying together because we knew how much I knew how much ups and downs and never all the way up, you know? And to live that moment with him and be able to hug him, and it's just, that's what I mean. I've been so blessed in the Delafovs and the Vinny Salick. Warren Reed lets me sit in the corner with him. I'm not even a high school coach. I get to coach. This is before they made all the rules because of the clubs. So I got to actually be in the corner when Vinny won the state title and not be a high school coach. Brett Taylor gave me his collar, and I got to get hugged. Like, I never wanted to be a high school coach after that. I already lived it, you know? Like, I had a state champ, and I lived in the corner. He jumped in our arms. I was, like, amazing. So, like, yeah.
I tell you what, you got one. Hopefully, you get one more big one, and I hope I'm there to watch too. When you're hugging your,
I got so many.
Yeah,
but there's so many. We all you guys, man. I know dudes in your club, but there ain't a club out there that doesn't have hammers. So it's like a matter: do we run into each other? Like, what year is ours? What year is your stud? You know, like in this world today, it's totally different. I mean, these kids, the bricks are stacked pretty solid against you. You better come like armored up and ready to go.
Exactly. Well, listen, Steve, it was great having you on, man. Again, I could talk to you all day.
Awesome.
Guys, if you guys just joined in, I see a lot of people who just joined in. This conversation that I had with Coach Rivera was awesome. It's going to be on my YouTube on David Cordoba. You can go on later on. I'll post it on Facebook too. I'll tag Coach as well. And you can watch from beginning to end. A lot of good info, a lot of good input. Coach, I really hope you got inspired to maybe start doing interviews, because I think you should, because I listen to it all day.
Can I just tell you something? Nelson Cruz, right? The Fort Lee dude, right?
The best.
Yeah. Nellie's been on me for an interview. I'm like, dude, let me do Cordoba first and see if I suck. And if I don't suck, I'll do it for you.
Bro, let me tell you right now, you need to go on, bro.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. I thank you for having me, man. There's a lot of options out there, quality people. And for you to pick me, I mean, you had Yanni and all these dudes. I really appreciate that, bud. I did.
Well, like I said, it was something that you were circled on my list that 100% that I want to talk to because we're in the same boat in the club thing, and it was great having you on. And again, you know, I hope you guys take care. You know, you and your family over at in where you guys live, and make sure that you guys take care of each other. And
All right, man.
and when you're up and running again, you know, I want to see you guys keep producing champions. Anything else you want to say before you finish up?
Yeah, I was gonna say follow at Elite Wrestling on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Yep.
All right, but the other thing is let's we should use that fan app that Astronaut's using and really try to do this. And
Okay.
like, and that day we'll have like Frankie, everybody call in, and we'll have that 3-way window going, and we'll just let people come in. You know,
I'm down. It's funny you say that because Coach Krause, I was kind of nervous to interview Coach Krause because his energy is really crazy, man. So he inboxes me and goes, and he inboxes me, and I could just picture him saying it. He goes, "Yeah, so we're gonna do this on IG Live. Why don't we do it on Zoom? It's more professional." And I'm like, Coach Krause, I'm like, you know what? He's like, I'll get like 8K views and we can get it on YouTube. And I'm like, Coach, I'm doing my Instagram Live just so you know people can interact. They can do it on Facebook too. I go, I know, but I got more younger kids on my Instagram. He goes, okay. And then he did it. So,
that was it.
So
yeah.
I know Zoom is a lot cleaner, a lot nicer, but when we do that, the fan cred, which is where Anthony Ashnall and Goodell have it, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Misty wants to say goodbye to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Missy, I didn't forget you. I was gonna say goodnight.
Yeah. You want to say
definitely
goodnight?
Keep doing you two.
So yeah, definitely. Say your what's your Instagram again for your club?
At Elite Wrestling NJ.
All right. If you're in Central Jersey or anywhere near Central Jersey, you better get your butt to that club. I tell all my kids that have shore houses. I told them this year. I told them today.
You're welcome, bro.
On my Zoom, I said, if you got a shore house and you're down the shore and you want to wrestle, you got to go to Steve.
Yeah, we do it with Potatoes dudes, and that's how I know Rella and like a lot of great people. Potato, when he sends his kids down here, there's so many guys that do it. And yeah, we're not looking to claim anyone, man. You know what it does? You know what it does turn out to be? When we go to states in the postseason and we're there, we're another fan for that kid. You know what I mean?
100%. Right there, we got Elite Wrestling Jersey. Kevin Burkett, thank you, bro. I know you support a lot of the interviews that I do, and I know you're a big fan of wrestling and stuff like that. You come from a wrestling family, so thanks, guys, for coming on. It'll be on YouTube. Dave Cordoba. Thanks again, Elite Wrestling in Jackson, Manalapan, and Toms River, 3 locations. So
no, not Manalapan no more, bro. Not Manalapan no more. We're just Toms River, Jackson, man.
Toms River.
I'm trying to
Jackson.
stay married, getting back to the empty nest thing.
Toms River, Jackson. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Enjoy the new match,
Thank
bro.
you.
All right, man.